He's doing really well. So we still have a really long road ahead of us, but he's gonna get there. So he went home on a lot of stuff, but they said, physically he's doing really, really well. So I had packed enough stuff we were planning like last time where we were gonna be there for at least, a month. But like I said, we got released, so he was there the whole time with me. We got released at 6 days. So it was pretty impressive. So he's doing really well. That last surgery, he was able to come off of his oxygen. I mean, he's been on oxygen for, the only other time he came off of oxygen was for like 2 days. He was doing really well, and then once they transferred him, he just kind of started regressing again, and he had been on oxygen, and with that last open heart that they did, they just really slowly weaned him down, and when they sent him home, we didn't have his oxygen on. It was so strange. And then probably they said, just keep the oxygen around just in case, maybe for an emergency type of thing, but we really don't think he's going to need it. And probably 2 or 3 weeks after we got home, our pediatrician had read the orders for our medical place to come and pick all that up, and that was kind of a bittersweet and scary moment, seeing them haul all of his oxygen stuff off, and I'm like, maybe I should just keep maybe one or something, just in case. And no, he's done great. So he's had lots of milestones still there. We've had to go up on his car seat. He's gotten so big and long for it, we've had to go up to the very maximum strap because he's so long. So we got 2 teeth now. He can sit up on his own. He can almost roll over. And when I have him on his, he's off sternal percussions now, so when I put him on his belly, he gets mad and he can kick himself back over. He can't roll over, but he can kick himself over. Sooner Care comes and works with him. We've had 2 visits with them, and she said for being in the hospital for 6.5 months, she said she is shocked how far he's come on his own without us helping him, because most of this stuff he's picked up on his own. So all of his motor skills, all of his movements, and they had goals set whenever we had our first meeting, and it was right before he was going in for his OH. So then we had to wait for the 6 weeks, and I was worried that we were going to get so behind. And he pretty much self-taught himself all that stuff in all that time. So she was very impressed, and she said she really thinks that he's going to catch up really fast. So we're hoping that he'll be. I say hoping. I better think about what I'm asking for when he starts crawling and getting into everything. He's off of all of his medications now, though. He's not on any more medications. He's got his inhaler, and he still gets aspirin for his a valve and the stent that aspirin helps to keep that buildup from getting on there. So hopefully we don't have to replace him as often. He's been doing well. His saturations have been really good, especially at night, even when he's sleeping in a deep sleep, which is good. His heart rate had been dropping into like the 70s or 80s, which they said is actually a good thing. Shows that it's good cardiac output, and that he's responding well to all of this hardware. But we noticed probably the last 2 weeks, and I noticed that at night too, his heart rate's starting to elevate a little bit higher. So we're not really sure what that's about. And then probably the last week especially, he's sleeping a lot more than he normally does. So they said, it could be a growth spurt, it could be something like that. He said there will be days when he does sleep more than others, but when he's doing that consistently, And the sweating and the higher heart rate and stuff was kind of what tipped us off last time. That gave us the red flag that, you know, it was time to get him into the cardiologist. So we actually weren't scheduled with them for another month because he was doing so well. But he decided that, you know, it's better safe than sorry. Let's go ahead and have it checked out just to be on the safe side. So, which he was planning on the stent having to be replaced sooner rather than later. So the stent is what is going to have to be replaced possibly every 3 to 6 months. And then his Mickey, that's the one that will go and. Well, part of that is the swallow surgery, so we're going to figure out, you know, what's going on up here that's preventing him from eating. Is it just, you know, he's not used to having things in his mouth in different textures and he's got that aversion, or if we've got something surgically that needs to be fixed. He's hoping that he can try some other procedures that are a little less invasive than actually having to go in and surgically do something in his esophagus. But once that is done on Monday, about a week after that, we'll go back with his nose, ear, and throat specialist. He's the one that did the endoscopy during his last open heart. So once he gets that swallow study, he said, you know, having that will give him a more rounded idea of what he's looking at. And then maybe he can give us some tools to kind of help us out. They gave us the go-ahead to go ahead and offer him a little bit of baby food and things like that, but he's still kind of just not a big fan of it. I noticed if I let him try, he's a little more eager. He's already very independent. And then, like I said, yesterday, the last 2 days, we noticed that his button is gushing milk. So he's okay if he's laying down or if he's, you know, not really moving a lot. But if I have him upright like this, or in his car seat, in his bounce, or anything where he's upright, it's just spilling milk out of his stomach. So I was worried that he's going to start losing weight. So when we called up there, he said that his Mickey button, because we had it put in when he was probably 8 pounds. So, I mean, he's gained quite a bit of weight since he had this put in. That thing was almost as big as he was when it was put in. So he said most kids this size have a bigger Mickey button. So that's been ordered, and as soon as we get that, he'll go in and have that. That will probably be done sometime next week as well. So next week is going to be a pretty busy week for us. Yeah. So we have his cardiologist, then his swallow study, then his Mickey button will be replaced. So, but we have got him onto bolus type of feeding, which is the goal that they set for us to get him to, so that they can even offer a bottle. Because if he's on continuous feed, you know, he's never hungry. They can't really get him to, you know, feed or attempt to nurse like they would on a bottle. So once we get him on the bolus, which is where he's at now, and he's done pretty well with it. So we've been pretty impressed. He's been pretty good to us. So other than lack of sleep, he's actually a pretty easy kid. He's got a really good attitude for being all that he's